Let's take a look at the Common Core state standards for English language arts and literacy in history, social studies, science, and technical subjects. We're going to look at how they're laid out and how to read them because it's quite different than the next generation Sunshine State Standards that we're used to. The Common Core state standards are divided into three main sections. After the introductory material here that just kind of gives you a general overview of the standards, there is a section for English language arts and literacy in history, social studies, science, and technical subjects in grades K to 5. There are English language arts standards for grades 6 to 12 in the second section. And then the third main part of these standards here are literacy in history, social studies, science, and technical subjects, grades 6 to 12. So now that we've looked at the three main sections, let's look more closely at each section to see how it's laid out. Let's take a look at the standards for English language arts, grades 6 through 12. Now, there are 4 different strands inside the English language arts standards. There's reading. The next strand is going to be writing. The next strand is speaking and listening. And the last strand is language. And each of these strands has its own section inside the standards. And that's because each strand, now we're looking at reading, has anchor standards that are the same K through 12. Those are kind of like big ideas, but they're called anchor standards. You can see them here. They're the anchor standards. And these 10 reading anchor standards are divided into smaller subgroups based on what they address. So we can see here that there's some key ideas and detail standards. There's 3 of them. There's a craft and structure section. So standards 4, 5, and 6 addressed craft and structure while reading. Integration of knowledge and ideas is standards 7, 8, and 9. And then lastly is the range of reading and level of text complexity, and that's standard 10. These anchor standards are used to format the way the other grade level specific standards are laid out. Now, just to kind of help you see the relationship, I'm going to open up another window with these anchor standards for reading. Let me go up to the reading section. So now we can see here, these are our 10 anchor standards for reading. To see what the grade level standards look like, we're going to go here to the next page. Now, these are reading standards for literature, grades 6 through 12. So these are reading and literature. There's also a section, reading informational text. Another way you can tell exactly what standards you're looking at is this little black box here that says RL. That means reading literature. And if you look, you see the same sections, key ideas and details, as you see in the anchor standards. And then so grade 7, you can see this is the grade level specific standard for 7th grade students that addresses the anchor standard number 1 in reading. Same with 2 and 3, and you can see the grade level specific ones. So 8th grade should be doing this, this, and this. And if you read them, you'll be able to see how they build upon each other. Next are the craft and structure standards, and you can see the standards for 4, 5, and 6, how they correspond here. The next page shows us the integration of knowledge and ideas standards 7, 8, and 9. You can see here that standard 8 is not applicable to literature, so that's not necessarily part of the reading standards for literature section. And then lastly, you'll see the standard 10. Just so that way you have an idea, you can see here in the high school, there's grade bands. 9 through 10 are grouped together, and you can see there the 10 standards there are addressed. You can see the grade level specific standards there, and then 11th and 12th are combined together. And again, we see that this is RL reading for literature. Here you can see we're looking now at the standards for informational text. And you can see in the corner that's RI. You can see the way it's structured, key ideas and details. These are standards 1, 2, and 3. Oops, sorry about that. Craft and structure, standards 4, 5, and 6. You see how it corresponds to the anchor standards. Integration of knowledge and ideas, and then range of reading and level of text complexity. So those are the reading standards. Now, writing also has anchor standards, and it also has 10 anchor standards. And the 10 standards are text types and purposes. You can see those 3 standards there. Production and distribution of writing, those 3 standards associated with that. Research to build and present knowledge, those 3 standards. And then lastly, the range of writing standard. And just like we did before, let's come down and take a look at how the grade level standards correspond to these anchor standards. Again, you can see the writing standards is what we're looking at. We can see also because of the W in the corner. And text types and purposes, you can see here that it's really broken down into very specific grade level standards. Standard 1 is they're going to write arguments. You can see here that that is the first anchor standard, and then it's broken down into A, B, C, D, and E. There's 2, and you can see here this is the third one for text types and purposes. Now this is the section for production and distribution of writing. And as we go on, we'll see research to build and present knowledge. Those standards are here, as well as range of writing. Again, grades 9 and 10 are grouped together in a band, and so are 11 and 12. The next section is the speaking and listening anchor standards. Here there's only 6. There's comprehension and collaboration, and then there's the presentation of knowledge and ideas. And just like before, you can see that these anchor standards guide the structure of the grade level specific standards. So you can see 7th grade, comprehension and collaboration. There it is, presentation of knowledge and ideas. This section in the anchor standards corresponds with these grade level standards. And we can look up here in the corner and see SL. These are the speaking and listening standards. It's also listed here on the top. And the last section are the language standards. And we can see again, there's only 6 here. There's conventions of standard English, knowledge of language, and then vocabulary acquisition and use. Let's pull up our anchor standards here so we can see the relationship one last time. And we have here the language standards. We can see that they're language because there's an L up here. Conventions of standard English is the first section in the anchor standards. The grade level standards here show conventions of standard English. This is the 7th grade expectations, and this is the 8th grade. Knowledge of language is listed here. And you can see the vocabulary acquisition and use for 7th grade and then 8th grade. And those are the sections of the reading standards. There's some more information in the back here if you'd like to look at the language progressive skills by grade, and information on text complexity is also listed, along with some sample text that illustrate the complexity, quality, and range of student reading. To download your own copy of the Common Core State Standards, you will type in www.corestandards.org to bring you to this website. Then you can click on English Language Arts Standards down here in the Download the Common Core State Standards section if you want English Language Arts, or you can click on Math if you want to download the math. There's also lots of information about Common Core on this site if you'd like to peruse it.